What's up guys, Metallic Rock here, and I'm so excited to show you this. I just couldn't wait. This is actually take two because we had some problems, but the Monk talent trees are finally here. I've primarily played a Brewmaster, but I'm really excited to see how the Monk class tree looks, as well as get into the Brewmaster tree. So looking at the Brewmaster tree here, just taking a little peek, I see a keg. I see a keg up here and a keg down here. One of the things I'm really looking for is uh, Storm Stout's Last Keg, giving you the second charge of Keg Smash, as well as Bone Dust Brew. Hopefully, in the Brewmaster tree, in my opinion, it's more of a Brewmaster spell and not really like an overall monk spell. As well as maybe bringing back Weapons of Order. I know that Warrior has kind of Condemned rolled into Execute now, as well as Sphere of Bastion, I believe. So it's not out of the realm of possibility for a class to have two Covenant abilities brought back. So jumping right into the Monk class tree first, I see what's interesting is you can now take Rising Sun Kick on Brewmaster, which you didn't have before. You had Blackout Strike. So maybe it's an additional damage ability. You can also take Soothing Mists on Brewmaster, as well as Windwalker, which I don't think could take it either. But it's a channel, and tanking and channeling usually is not great. Reduce all damage taken by 3%. That's pretty good, and I expect that that will probably be taken by everyone. Tiger's Lust is moved up like to the top, so it's like one of the first choice nodes. You've got Paralysis rank 1 and Paralysis rank 2, which makes Paralysis have a 30-second cooldown, which is good. Looks like some mob control in this corner over here, because then there's Disable, which reduces a target's movement speed. Duration is refreshed by melee attacks, so maybe for kiting for Brewmaster, but that's not really a thing they have a problem with, especially, you can say Ring of Peace down over here. And then Detox is now, you could just not take it, I guess. You can go around Detox one way or another. Here you have Ferocity of Zwen. Increase all damage dealt by 2%. That's a two-choice node, or 2-point node. As well as in the class tree, Spear Hand Strike. This is awesome, because this means that Mistweavers probably pretty easily, like I'd imagine they want to get Detox and probably Fort Brew, so they might be coming down this side, probably, maybe Paralysis. Mistweavers can probably take Spearhand Strike and be a healer with an interrupt, which would be very nice for them. Coming down from Paralysis rank 2, Fortifying Brew, turn your skin to stone for 15 seconds, increasing your current and maximum health by 15% and reducing all damage you take by 15%. I do believe right now it's reduced the damage you take by 20%. But it does seem to be a little bit less, if I remember correctly. But there's a rank 2 here, which increases your dodge and armor by 25%. And cooldown reduced by 2 minutes. It doesn't say what the cooldown is going to be, but right now it's 7-minute in-game, and as a Brewmaster, Tiger Palm and Keg Smash reduce the cooldown by 1 and 2 seconds, respectively. So this would be pretty interesting, and see, right now it says increases dodge and armor by 25%. I believe, if I remember correctly, that right now it's increasing the efficiency of your stagger by 1%. So this is actually, like, kind of a complete rework on the way this works, which is interesting. You just won't be, I mean, if you're dodging more attacks and your armor is higher, you'll just be taking less damage overall instead of staggering more and purifying more. But you kind of like staggering a lot of damage to purify, because then it makes your Ox Stomp do even more damage, but that's okay. Let's see, Celerity or Chi Torpedo. So you can now take Tiger's Lust and Chi Torpedo or Celerity. Those are currently on a single row now, so that's not something you can do. Over here, Fast Feet, Rising Sun Kick deals 35% increased damage, and Spinning Crane Kick deals additional damage. That's a 2-point node. So maybe you take Rising Sun Kick for single target and buff it up with this. If it goes up evenly, like that 70% increased damage for Rising Sun Kick and 10% for Spinning Crane Kick, that can be some pretty good damage, which I think Mistweavers in particular are looking to deal out a little bit more damage. Go down into Expel Harm. Probably will definitely take that for Brewmaster. And probably even Windwalker, because it generates chi, and I think they use that in their rotation to keep their chi topped up. Brewmasters use it to pull up their Golden Ox orbs and then heal themselves on demand. Got Touch of Death, now be used on targets less than 15%, dealing 35% of your maximum health and damage. Cooldown reduced by 60 seconds. It looks like they're turning it into an execute. So right now, the cooldown is 3 minutes, and there's a 2-point node here to reduce by 60 seconds. So this may be a 1-minute cooldown on Touch of Death, but currently it deals 35% damage on targets that are like bosses or mini bosses, and it will instantly kill any target with less health than you. It seems like now it might be kind of just used in an execute phase instead of outright killing a target, which, I don't know, kind of feels worse, I think, but 1-minute cooldown on it will feel nice, so that's a trade-off you have to take, I guess. Dampen Harm, which is something that you don't take right now a lot of the times to take, I believe, light brewing, or yeah, I think it's light brewing. So that's cool. Maybe you can take a little bit of extra durability in a Brewmaster side. Go down this middle tree. So damage don't increase, Transcendence, transfer, okay. Ring of Peace, that's gonna want to grab that. Eye of the Tiger. So right now, you typically take Chi Burst or Chi Wave, depending on if you're Brewmaster or if you're Windwalker. Windwalker takes Chi Burst, I think, for the Chi points. Eye of the Tiger, I think, is mostly only used in single target, so maybe not even then for Brewmaster. I'm not sure. I don't raid too much. Windwalking. So all the specs can have Windwalking now, which is very fun. And I think we missed this one over here, right? Generous Pour. You and your allies within blank yards have a additional avoidance. 2-point node can get up to 4.4% of avoidance. Very cool. We're going to save all these capstones for the end. So let's go back up and go down this left side then. So you can take Soothing Mist into Roll. You're going to want to take Roll. So I guess everyone will be taking Soothing Mists, right? Or maybe you don't. Maybe Brewmaster just goes for Chi Torpedo and doesn't go for Roll. Wait. Reduces the cooldown of Roll by 5 seconds and increases his maximum number of charges by 1. So either Roll needs to be moved or this needs to be moved to this side. Because right now you can take Celerity but not take Roll. Like you can just go down the left and middle side, and that seems weird, and I don't know. That doesn't seem right. Okay, Soothing Mist into Roll, into Tiger Tail Sweep, a 2-point node. Reduce the cooldown by, I guess, up to 10 seconds. That's cool. Heavy Air, Crackling Jade Lightning range increased by 10 yards. I don't think any spec uses that. I know Brewmaster doesn't. Vivify Healing increased by 20%. 2-point node. Cool. Vivify is now instant cast. Very cool. I don't know if you'll take this as a Brewmaster. Probably not. Maybe you will. But channeling is terrible. Casting is terrible as a tank, so yeah. I don't know. Maybe it makes Vivify usable. Usually if you're Vivifying, it's kind of all over, though. It's not something you want to be doing. You're going to not have enough energy to keep yourself alive in any way. Increase all healing taken by 2%, 2-point node. That's pretty cool. You might actually take this as Brewmaster. Help your healer out, make your orbs do better, your Expel Harm heal better, probably your Celestial Fortunes. There's a lot of healing that you take as a monk, so that could be pretty good. So then you come down into Elusive Mist, reduce damage taken while channeling Soothing Mist by 2-point node up to 3 to 6%. That's cool. Chi Wave, Chi Burst. So you can now have Chi Wave, Chi Burst. Well, Chi Wave or Chi Burst and Eye of the Tiger. So that's pretty cool. They seem to be doing that, kind of splitting up current nodes into like a choice and a guaranteed. The one they always take and the choice. And then in this case, not, the one you choose and then the one you never take but isn't probably bad. Let's see. Provoke, rank 2, so that's the movement speed increase. It's kind of just baked in now. It's not a talent. You just get that at a certain level when you get rank 2 Provoke. That's fine. It's very useful, actually, to be able to get that mob to you quickly. Roll out. Roll, you are immune to roots and snares, so similar to Tiger's Lust. Remove roots and snares on an ally, usually, you know, yourself, maybe someone else. This will just, you can roll yourself out of roots and snares and maybe use your Tiger's Lust on an ally to break them out. Very cool. Diffuse magic. Now that's very good. Reduce magic damage you take by 60% for 6 seconds and transfers all currently active harmful magical effects on you back to their original caster if possible. That's incredible. Monks, brewmasters, one of their big like pitfalls is that they stagger off physical damage very well, but magic damage at an extremely reduced effectiveness. So having this diffuse magic ability kind of like helps to fill in the gaps, and the fact that it sends back the harmful magical effects on you back to the original caster if possible, kind of removes them from you, is almost like a personal magic dispel. Kind of like maybe Blood Death Knights popping AMS before a cast goes off. You could pop Diffuse Magic after to remove something. Maybe allow your healer to get more DPS in so they don't have to cleanse. Or, yeah, just keeping yourself up on your own when it comes to big magical hits. That's really good. I expect in Dragonflight there's probably going to be a lot of magic damage. Dragons. So, yeah, that's a great talent. And there's almost no way you don't run that in Brewmaster, I would think. Which is kind of... fine, I guess. You can come from the right side through Detox down through rank 2 Taunt. You and your allies within blank yards gain an additional 2 to 4% leech, 2-point talent. That's fine. Leech is good. Avoidance, probably better. In Mythic Plus, at least. After you use Transcendence Transfer, you can use Transcendence Transfer again within 10 seconds, ignoring the cooldown. During this time, if you cast Vivify on yourself, its healing is increased by 70%. And 50% of its cost is refunded. 2-point node, so I guess probably goes up to increased healing by 140%, and 100% of its cost is reducted. If that's the way this scales, that could be pretty good, I think. Or like maybe healers and DPS to top themselves up. I mean, maybe even tanks, really, if 100% of the cost is refunded and you can instantly cast Vivify. That's an interesting combo when you think about like these talents up here comboing into that. Right now, I almost never Transcendence Transfer. It's like kind of a niche thing you do. Maybe try to cheese a mechanic. Okay, let's look at these final 3 and then the capstone. So we got on the left side, when your healing spells heal more than 3 people below 35%, heal for an additional percent. Seems good. Seems good for probably Mistweaver. I don't see any of the other specs taking that. When 3 consecutive abilities hit more than 3 enemies, deal additional damage. Okay, same thing, kind of bland, probably a Windwalker thing. When a hit deals more than 20% of your maximum health, reduce all damage by blank percent for 6 seconds. That is awesome. That is awesome. So if a hit really trucks you, and now I wonder how that works with Stagger, more than 20% of your health, maximum health before Stagger, or after. If it's before Stagger, this ability is incredibly good. If it's after, it's still a good ability, obviously. If you're getting trucked for 20% of your health post-Stagger, a percent DR would probably be pretty welcome in that moment. So on the Mistweaver side, you have summon the Jade Serpent statue at the target location, channel a Soothing Mist. The statue will also channel Soothing Mist, healing for X% over 8 seconds. I think that's just the way the Jade statue works right now, but like, to be noted, Windwalkers and Brewmasters can take Jade Serpent statue, which is kind of weird, but that's fine. Let's see what the Windwalker one is. Under construction, that's going to be big. That's really flavorful for Monk. That's going to be probably mandatory regardless of spec. And on the Brewmaster side, summon Black Ox statue. Okay, Black Ox statue is fine. Looks like it works the same way. Kind of works as like a mini off tank. You can drop it and it'll pulse aggro, taunt everything to it, I guess give you a second to breathe. You can also drop the statue down and taunt the statue, which will give you an AoE taunt, which is cool. 10-second cooldown. I don't know, I've never taken it really besides outside of like 2x4 farming, so it is what it is. Let me see here, let me move the camera to the other side while we go on this side of the talents. All right, very excited here. Very excited. Like I said, let's start off with this well. We've got Keg Smash. Grant shuffle for 5 seconds. Reduce the cooldown of your brews by 3. Is it 3 now? I think it's 2 right now. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. There's Stagger. Boom. So Keg Smash, Stagger. 2 great abilities that we already get baseline, but that's fine. Purifying Brew clears 50% of the delayed Stagger. It also says increases, so I don't know if Celestial Brew is going to be another talent somewhere, but it mentions Celestial Brew under here. So maybe Celestial Brew is baseline, but Purifying Brew is the talent, so that might be what's happening. Hit Scheme, dealing damage with Blackout Kick, increases the damage of your next Keg Smash by 10%, stacking up to 4 times. I believe Hit Scheme was a Azurite trait in BFA, if I remember correctly. And that's fine. We love doing more Keg Smash damage, especially up to 40% damage, although you almost never hold Keg Smash. Gift of the Ox, when you take damage, get Gift of the Ox spheres. Now this is a 2-point node. Moving through the sphere heals you for 150% of attack power. I wonder if the second point will increase the percent of attack power it heals. Oh, geez, sorry. Okay, so here's Celestial Brew. So you do take Celestial Brew down here, and this is Staggering Strikes. When you Blackout Kick, your stagger is reduced by 50. That was definitely a Azurite trait. Sorry, took me a second. So it looks like Hit Scheme and Staggering Strikes. 50 is probably the wrong number, because 50 is nothing. And it's probably not going to be percent-based, because that would be too strong. But, you know, with tuning, this will probably be pretty good. Then over here you have Celestial Flames. This is a talent, I believe, or a legendary from Shadowlands, I think, that you haven't ran. Either way, that's why I don't know what it is. Drinking from Brews is a 30... I think it's a legendary from Shadowlands. Drinking from Brews has a 30% chance to coach you with Celestial Flames for 6 seconds while Celestial Flames is active. Spinning Crane Kick applies Breath of Fire, and Breath of Fire reduces the damage affected enemies deal to you by an additional 5%. That is awesome. That's incredible. That's really cool. To be able to keep applying Breath of Fire and having that additional 5% reduction is probably going to be mandatory. Yeah, that's really cool. Okay, so you have Celestial Brew and possibly Celestial Brew rank 2. Purifying Brew increases the absorption of your next Celestial Brew by 200%. Okay, so that's very cool. And then Purifying Brew rank 2, you now have 2 charges. Yeah, like, this whole side kind of seems mandatory right here. Because it's kind of all, besides this, like, base kit now, or Azurite talents that are just welcome. So that's neat. Let's go down into... There's Breath of Fire, so you can get Celestial Flames before you get Breath of Fire, which is kind of weird, but that's fine. Oh, there's the Fortifying Brew, increasing stagger effectiveness by 15% while active, and it combines with the... So Brewmaster can now get a super Fortifying Brew of maximum health increased by 15%, damage taken reduced by 15%, increases dodge and armor by 25%, and increases stagger effectiveness by 15% while active. Reduce cooldowns by 2 minutes. That's incredible. Fortifying Brew is now going to be like one of the strongest cooldowns, probably. Like if you press that button, you're good. You're just not dying for the next 15 seconds. A choice between Scalding Brew and Salsamabib's Strength. Keg Smash deals an additional 20% damage when targets are affected by Breath of Fire. That's currently a conduit that's run. Very good conduit for increasing damage. When you use Keg Smash, the remaining cooldown on Breath of Fire is reset. That's also pretty good if you need Breath of Fire uptime, but if you're taking something like Celestial Flames, usually you're chugging from your brews quite a bit, and you'll probably be not needing Celestial Fire uptime. You'll probably be proccing this enough, 30% chance. That's... I'd imagine you take Scalding Brew here, if I had to guess. Looking over here, you got Dragonfire Brew, which was a Legion power from the artifact weapon, I believe, or Charred Passions. Charred Passions is a legendary right now that was like almost considered, but you never take it over Stormstout's last keg. Let's see. After using Breath of Fire, you breathe 2 additional times, dealing increased attack power. Breath of Fire damage increased by 100% based on your level of Stagger. That's very cool. I like it when they turn Stagger into damage. That's nice. And or your Breath of Fire ignites your right leg in flame for 8 seconds, causing your Blackout Kick and Spinning Crane Kick to deal additional damage as fire damage and refresh the duration of your Breath of Fire on your target. That seems similar to this, with this applying Breath of Fire to your target. But yeah, you probably can have a 100% Breath of Fire uptime now, which is pretty cool. This talent tree seems pretty intricate. Okay, so let's see here. Black Ox Brew or Bob and Weave. Chug some Black Ox Brew, which instantly refills your energy, purifying brew charges, and resets the cooldown of Celestial Brew. This currently isn't run. Bob and Weave is run, and probably always will be run. It just smooths out the stagger damage by making the damage, or the dot tick for longer, therefore slower. Into High Tolerance, which is always taken. Stagger is 2% more effective at delaying damage. You gain 15% haste based on your current level of Stagger. That 15% haste thing, High Tolerance may be... the 15% haste thing comes from an Azurite trait in BFA originally. It does look like we do get Bone Dust Brew. It does say requires Monk Mistweaver, which is a little weird, because this is the Brewmaster tree, but I'm sure it's just a mistake. Or maybe Mistweavers can take it as well. Hurl a brew created from the bones of your enemies, coating all enemies, deal shadow damage, or have a chance to deal shadow damage. It does say a Mistweaver one, but I'm sure for Monk it will say what it says now. Your abilities that reduce the cooldowns of your brew will additionally reduce them by another 1 second. And the final talent, Bountiful Brew or Attenuation. Your abilities have a low chance to cast Bone Dust Brew at your target's location, 1.5 procs per minute. Does say require Mistweaver for these as well. Bone Dust Brew shadow damage and healing is increased by 20%, and when Bone Dust Brew deals shadow damage, its cooldown is reduced by 0.5%. Attenuation seems very good, very cool. That's the one that I would want to take. I hope that one's good. But either of these seem fine. Okay, let's go down the right side of the tree now. You got Shuffle. That's going to be mandatory. You have to shuffle as a Brewmaster. No choices. Healing Elixir, which has been run sometimes, like at the start of an expansion, when you might want to help your healer out, or if you're like solo questing in the beginning of an expansion and it's kind of rough. I know I ran it in the beginning of BFA and a little bit in Shadowlands, but it's usually not a talent you want to pick. Maybe it will be now. I mean, we have so many more choices, so never hurts to have a 15% maximum health heal, especially 2 charges of one. So and then you go down to Quick Sip. Every 3 seconds of shuffle you gain purifies 1% of your damage stagger. Seems fine. You gain a lot of shuffle. I mean, just this gains 5 just for blackout, or just for keg smashing, so that seems good. Why not? You get to choose Rushing Jade Wind or Special Delivery. These are currently the 2 that are chosen between now. Special Delivery is good. Rushing Jade Winds is good. They're basically competitive, and it's usually a preference thing, so that's cool. Graceful Exit. After you successfully dodge or an enemy misses you, you gain 5% increased movement speed. 2-point node, more movement speed. Monk's going to be the fastest class in the game. What can I say? Not much to say about that one. You dodge a lot on Monk. You and your target charge to each other, meeting halfway and rooting all targets within 6 yards. Clash, it's cool. It's in the game now. I should use it more. Good ability. Probably will be taken. A good way to move the target by meeting them halfway, like a mini death grip almost. Zen Meditation reduces all damage you take by 60%, being hit by a melee attack. This is good for like event type abilities, like cosmic radiation, essentially, type abilities. Spirit of Strength, expel harms, healing is increased by 20% based on your missing health. Or Gaipling's Imperial Brew, purifying brew instantly heals you for 25% of the purified stagger. That could be okay. Expel harms healing is increased by 200% based on your missing health. I imagine you would take that one, because you could usually expel harm like once your health starts to drop. And usually when you're purifying, like currently right now, your health usually stays almost topped up just from your healer and your keg smash from your set bonus, your 4-piece set bonus healing you. But maybe that won't be the case going into Shadowlands, and you might need a little bit of extra healing. Zen Meditation has a 25% reduced cooldown and is no longer canceled when you move or hit by a melee attack. This makes Zen Meditation an actual ability. This, I mean, you don't get to attack, but as long as you hold aggro, you become, is the 60% damage taken reduced then on a 5-minute cooldown, reduced by 25%. So that's great. Face Palm, what a good name. Tiger Palm has a 10% chance to deal 300% chance of normal damage and reduce the remaining cooldown of your brews by an additional second. I mean, a 10% chance is kind of low, but you do Tiger Palm a lot, especially in AoE. So it might be, or especially in single target, not really in AoE, usually spinning Crane Kick in AoE. I could see this being good, certainly good for like raids. Going into Shocking Blow, Crackling Jade Lightning deals 40% less damage. Oh, good. And has a cost of 40 energy. Nice. But it is now instant and causes your next Blackout Kick against the target to shock them, dealing nature damage. I hope that's garbage. I don't want to be Crackling Jade Lightning on Brewmaster. This ability needs to be bad. I hate this. Shadowboxing Treads, Blackout Kick damage increased by 20% and strikes an additional 2 targets. That's awesome. Love that. Or Blackout Kick's cooldown is reduced by 1 second and its damage is increased by 10%. That's probably single target versus AoE, is what I would guess. AoE cleave. So, looks like both of them are fairly good. I could see both of them being run depending on the situation. This goes into Counter Strike. Each time you dodge or an enemy misses, your next Tiger Palm or Spinning Crane Kick deals 100% increased damage. That's cool. Love that. Very nice. Great in single target. Great in AoE. Not even really a choice to make. If you can take that, you should. Each time you dodge or an enemy misses you, the remaining cooldown on your brews is reduced by 0.5 seconds, or up to 1 second probably, with the 2-point node. This is an awesome ability. We love this. We love brew reduces. Like, this is great. We want to chug brews on Brewmaster. That's the idea. Light Brewing versus Training of Nizao. Okay, Training of Nizao was originally an Azurite trait from BFA, and Light Brewing is the one that you pretty much always take. Although it does something different here. It reduces the cooldown of Purifying Brew and Celestial Brew by 20%. I don't think that's what it does right now, but maybe that's what it does. I think I'm remembering the old BFA one where okay. This seems like it probably you're just gonna take Light Brewing. Let's see here. Drink the Spirit into Invoke Nizao the Black Ox. Summon an effigy of Nizao the Black Ox, who stomps, dealing damage based on the amount of stagger you've purified. This is a great ability. It was baked into us at the start of Shadowlands, and it procs off of Weapons of Order now, and it does a lot of damage. It's good. It does about like 15 to 20%, and it does more damage for you the higher you push into like keystone levels or content, because you take more damage, so you purify more damage. It's a great ability. I like this one a lot. So now we're getting down towards the end here. Walk with the Ox. Abilities that grant Shuffle, reduce the cooldown of Invoke Nizao, and it deals additional damage. This is currently a conduit that we run on Brewmaster, and it's a great conduit. Great to see this back with a 2-point node, additional 1 seconds by shuffling, and increased stomp damage. That's cool. So it seems like there's like a lot of abilities that like proc off the same things, right? Proc off Stagger, proc off Shuffle. That's very nice. That's very it plays straight into what you're already doing and then makes you feel good for doing it. So I think that's good class design. Blackout Kick deals an additional 5% damage, and Blackout Kick critical hits grant an additional 1 stack of Elusive Brawler. That's cool, means you're dodging more, and there's things that proc off of dodging. That's awesome. We love the synergy. This goes into Exploding Keg. Exploding Keg is currently a PvP talent, so it's kind of interesting to see it here. Hurl a flaming keg at the target location, dealing fire damage to nearby enemies, causing your attacks against them to deal 20% additional damage, and causing them to miss melee attacks for the next 3 seconds. This is cool. I never even considered this because it's a PvP talent, but yeah, this is a great 1-minute defensive cooldown. I love it. I hope it's run. Very cool. Blackout Combo. So this isn't run right now, but it's what it is. It's a little complicated. You can see there's a lot of text here. Blackout Kick also empowers your next ability. Tiger Palm does 100% increased damage. Breath of Fire increases the dot damage and the damage reduction by 5%. That's cool. Keg Smash reduces the remaining cooldown on your brews by an additional 2 seconds. That's cool. Celestial Brew, gain up to 3 additional stacks of Purified Chi. Okay. And Purifying Brew pauses stagger damage for 3 seconds. All of these options are fine. There's just a better talent now, so you never take this one. Realistically, you could take this, Blackout Kick, and then press whatever button you want, and you're getting some kind of benefit, 3 of which are defensive. So you would just have to like Tiger Palm if you want an offensive, but the rest of the 3 are like a mix of defensive, offensive, or pure defensive. I think it's a fine talent here going into these capstones. So we can see here we do get Weapons of Order back. So we do get Bone Dust Brew and Weapons of Order, which is awesome. This is great. It means that you'll get more Invoke Nazals. It means that you'll do more damage by purifying more Stagger. This is awesome. I think it's a great one to get back. All right, I'm excited to see these capstones. Last 3. Let's wrap this up. Stormstout's last keg. There it is. I think I got everything I wanted then. Keg Smash deals an additional 30% damage and has 1 additional charge. That's cool. Love it. And the final capstone is Call to Arms. Weapon of Orders calls forth your Ox. That's cool. Great. It already does that now, baseline, but that's fine. If you take Weapons of Order, you will take this capstone. There's really no way around that, probably. Or activating, it does say activating your Kyrian class ability currently, but that's fine. This is the reduction from Mechanicos, which is interesting to see here, but welcome. I mean, so right now this is a 2-minute ability that gets reduced to 1 minute and 40 seconds, I believe. Or, is it 1 minute 40 or 1 minute and 20 seconds? 4 seconds per affected enemy up to a maximum. So yeah, 1 minute and 40 seconds. This is fine. As I said, if you take Weapons of Order, you probably will take Call to Arms to get more Nazals, but it will kind of suck to lose Elusive Anima Accelerator because we already have it, but I'm sure we're going to get power progressions in Shadowlands itself, so this is fine. All in all, I'm very happy. I pretty much got everything I wanted, plus some cool things I didn't expect. Celestial Flames, Dragon Brewer Charred Passions, turning Zen Meditation into a cooldown, things that benefit you when you dodge more, things that benefit you when you stagger more, things that benefit when you shuffle more. All in all, great. A PvP talent, that's cool. It seems like Brewmaster looking to be pretty good. I'm a little concerned because they're going to be losing their set bonus, which I think is where a lot of their power comes from. Additional healing, additional damage, additional maximum health, which was largely one of their weaker points, having the lowest health pool of all tanks. But I'm sure as we go into Dragonflight, they'll have their own version of the Catalyst. We'll be able to get Dragonflight tier, and that'll cover all the gaps that would currently not be covered in the talent tree. There will still be more borrowed power to come in Shadowlands. That's all I've got for this video. Leave the comments below. Let me know what you think of these talent trees. If you're a Windwalker player or a Mistweaver player, let me know how you feel about your trees. Let me know how you feel about the class tree. This has been Metallic Rock. Peace.